on air. And political commentator Benji Irby joins us live in studio to break it all down right after the break. You do not want to miss it.
You heard the buzz this week. Turning Point USA was basically accused by The View of organizing a neo-Nazi protest this week. Now, Turning Point is filing a cease and desist letter to ABC News over this defamation with The View, and they issued apologies throughout their show, sort of. They had to do a take two. It was actually quite funny. Joining me now in studio to discuss is political commentator Benji Irby. Benji, welcome back. This is your first time on the couch, huh?
This is my first time on the couch.
All right.
I've been on Newsmax plenty of times.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you're always remote. Benji, obviously, you've been touring the country as a truck driver. What's been the experience and the general perception of the American public thus far?
Well, it's definitely been FJB on at all the gas stations. I can tell you that. Those, like, I did that stickers, like, those are everywhere, and it's the general consensus. And what I love about being a trucker is, like, it's the most MAGA, most red job you ever could have. So it's like, unlike everything else, we actually make fun of people for being Democrats. You wouldn't tell people you're a Democrat in the truck stop.
No. All right, so but take a listen to this, though. Take a listen.
We want to make clear that these demonstrators were gathered outside the event and that they were not invited or endorsed by Turning Point USA.
About the neo-Nazis at the Turning Point event. They were outside protesters. My point was more metaphorical.
Turning Point USA has condemned the group of neo-Nazis and said they have nothing to do with the organization.
Sorry, sort of. Let me walk it back. But what do you think of this?
The View is so gross. I don't even know why we even do The View, why people talk about The View. It's supposed to be ABC News. I don't know what's newsy about it, just like these four cackling old women gossiping and just trying to make headlines saying whatever. I've actually been to a Turning Point USA conference. I went to the one in 2018. I believe it was the first one that Candace Owens was involved in, and we met the president and all that, and it was like the African American meeting and all. So the idea of this whole, they call everybody a Nazi. It's for people who are of Jewish descent, people who are Holocaust survivors and things like that. For them just to use this as like a thing, as a political cudgel, it's just so disgusting. But The View is disgusting. So
right, but Whoopi Goldberg couldn't even sit still long enough to make a formal apology. She didn't even have to make the apology. She was like, "Oh, it's more metaphorical." You think this is the end of this, or you think this is going to trickle on and this lawsuit might actually see it in court?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, we have to continue to fight these things. I think for a lot of times, conservatives are kind of like, we'll just let it go, or no, we won't be that, we won't be litigious. But we have to do a lot of the same things they do. They fight us in court, we have to fight them. But I mean, Whoopi Goldberg herself, wasn't she canceled a couple of months ago for saying something having to do with the Holocaust or something like that anyway? And then, Joy Behar with her blackface moment, I was a light-skinned black woman. They're such hypocrites. This show is disgusting. Does anybody even watch this show anymore? Probably not.
Whoopi Goldberg actually did say, Dr. Joe Biden, not a real doctor, should be the, the health,
I mean, hey, they have that the trans person that's not a real woman as the woman who's the person who was in Pennsylvania, whose mother was in the old folks' home, but they took her out during COVID. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
But they brought Governor Ron DeSantis into the problem, saying he did nothing to stop the neo-Nazis, but failed to mention that the governor was at the event the previous day, right?
I love my governor, Ron DeSantis. I love him to death. And I hate the fact that they're trying to, on another subject, trying to put him against Trump for 2024. I want my governor to stay right in Florida. He belongs. I love him. I moved to Florida because of him. He is amazing. Thank God.
So actually, a funny, interesting story. I was actually in the military with Ron DeSantis. Great guy. Yeah, so he talks about being deployed with the SEALs in Iraq. I was the SEAL that he was deployed with. So great guy, fantastic. He's one of the few guys who does the sanity check in D.C. But, going into this stuff, do you see the media trying to fuel some sort of hatred between Trump and DeSantis right now?
Absolutely. That's exactly what they're trying to do. And I think that, we shouldn't fall for it as conservatives. First of all, I don't think he's running because, number one, it doesn't really make sense to him to run right now. I mean, his wife is dealing with the cancer. Right, yet. He is dealing with the cancer. He has young children. Yeah. And I think that he knows that a lot of people, and we all know a lot of people definitely felt like, 2020 was robbed. Mm-hmm. So I think that until Trump really has his chance to go out there and just make a go of this, that it really wouldn't make sense. But I think the media is definitely trying to start a risk because they see that, Trump's not going anywhere. Trump's still very popular. We're still, rooting for Trump. But, it would just make more sense for let Trump have his time now. And then Ron DeSantis is shooing for 2028. I think he's definitely smart enough to realize that. And for his re-election in Florida, one of the things that Nikki Fried and the other Democrats are saying is that, he's not about Florida. Yeah. He's just trying to run for president. So for that reason, I don't think he's trying to run for president at all. Everybody's trying to push him, the anti-Trump people. Right. But this is still Trump's time. It's still Trump's party. We still love Trump. He's still our guy, and I don't see anyone, honestly, of anyone trying to run it, whether it be Mike Pence or Nikki Haley. It's all about Trump 2024.
Benji, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Right.